Hi and welcome to the Gut Guru e-classes with Trevor Robinson, medical herbalist and nutritionist. Our first one today is jungle juice. When to take my herbal and 5 ways to make it easier for you. How much and when? It's always a question. It's always hard to remember, but there's some really simple rules. Your herbal has been created to be fully therapeutic based on 105 mils per week or 15 mils per day. Typically, you'll be prescribed doses of either 5 mils 3 times per day, usually associated with breakfast, lunch and dinner, or 7.5 mils twice per day associated with breakfast and dinner. Either way, our target is still 15 mils per day to get 105 mils per week. It's just like taking prescription medication from your doctor. Our aim is to achieve set levels of active ingredients in the blood and therefore have a therapeutic effect. According to the British Herbal Pharmacopoeia, the furthest apart is every 12 hours, hence a 7.5 ml dose taken in the morning and evening. However, it can be taken 5 mils 3 times per day, and again, it's considered to be effective. In some ways, some think it is more effective, and that's because we're keeping the levels of the blood a bit more even. We typically ask you to take it twice a day. We find most people have difficulty taking a liquid herbal to work to have with lunch. It is a liquid, it does stain, it does spill, it's another thing to carry around. Remember, 7.5 mils twice a day is still a very effective dosage ratio. Wow, it's strong. I guess you're wondering, why is that? Or maybe you actually did expect that, but yes, why is it? The two common things most people have experience with a herbal are the taste and the alcohol. Now the taste, herbs are strong in flavour. We are concentrating a herb and they can be quite bitter. The other one that gets people is the ethanol or alcohol content. Ethanol is used as the extraction medium for the herbs we stock as part of the herbal production process and can be anywhere from 25 to 97%. It's dependent upon the herb and what you're trying to extract. The average amount in a gut herb is typically 40 or 45% of ethanol. Now the ethanol usage is per the British Herbal Pharmacopoeia standards for extraction, and the manufacturers in Australia stick with those standards. A typical 5 ml dose in our formulas has less than 1/6 of a standard glass of beer or wine alcohol content. Now let's look at some ways to make it easier. We've come up with 5, but there are more. You can add it to a small amount of water just by topping up the measuring glass and shooting it. In other words, down the hatch really quickly. Now if you're going to be having it on an empty stomach and feel queasy on taking it, definitely call us. Usually you take a herbal with food and you'll be told to do so on your script. There are some exceptions, so if you're on one of these exceptions, do call us before changing to taking it with food. Increase the amount of water you use to dilute the herbal mix. Instead of just filling up the little measuring cup, let's try a 1/4 cup of water or a 1/2 cup of water and sipping it down. That'll certainly weaken the flavour a lot. Or try strong flavoured fruit juice, or add it to a vegetable juice or smoothie if you're already making those in the mornings. Finally, sometimes the ethanol or alcohol content is just too hard to swallow stomach, or you might need to avoid it due to personal or religious reasons. The process is quite simple. We evaporate off the ethanol and replace it with glycerin. Now we will do this for you because we're managing the temperatures very carefully and don't want to damage the herb and its effects. However, there are some herbs that just cannot go through this process and they have a high volatile content. For example, chamomile, peppermint, thyme. But usually by the time we dilute everything down and mix it back up again, you won't notice this. There are more options available, and if you still do have problems, please raise it at your next appointment with us, or make a follow-up phone call after your first appointment. Now, like all things that are classes, you have a few tasks. We'd like you to please complete the following and tell us the outcome at your next appointment. Is there a flavour that you cannot stand and would stop you from taking the formula or continue, and as a result just not being able to do the program? Remembering herbs are a major part of what we do work with. Typical flavours that people have problem with are fennel, aniseed and licorice. Sometimes it can be the extremely bitter or strong ones, but they're often smaller doses. Just let us know if you're on a herbal and there's a flavour you just can't work with. What method do you use to take your jungle juice? Tell us at your next appointment. What did you choose to do and what works for you? And finally, why do you need to take your herbal at least twice a day?